Have you ever felt that quiet, nagging whisper of self-doubt? That heavy feeling of being stuck, like you just can't move forward, almost like an invisible weight just holding you back. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that experience, what the sources we've explored call the devastation of shame. Our mission really for this deep dive is to pull out the most crucial insights, those aha moments, from a whole stack of articles, research, expert perspectives. We want to really understand shame, get a grip on its profound impact on our lives, and maybe most importantly, equip you with insights on how to heal and actually move forward.
And I think you'll find these sources offer a really powerful, quite a comprehensive blend. They weave together some sharp psychological insights with quite profound spiritual wisdom as well. It gives us this really holistic view of what can be a crippling human experience.
Okay, so let's try and unpack this. The material we looked at, it really emphasizes just how severely shame hinders people. It can stop us dead in our tracks, right? From moving forward in life, from becoming better people, achieving things, even, advancing in careers. And some might even get, say, promoted beyond their competence. But the shame, it's still this deeply devastating force. It just quietly holds people back. And at its core, shame plants this really damaging false belief, this idea that others think less of me, I'm just not a worthy person. But here's what our sources make absolutely clear. That idea, completely wrong.
Utterly wrong.
You're worthy, and you absolutely can improve and move forward, but only if you manage to halt that destructive influence of shame.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how the source material breaks down shame's two main objectives. First, it's always whispering that we're never good enough, never quite measure up. And second, it often challenges our very right to exist with that nasty little question, who do you think you are? Yeah. Brené Brown, she captures this so well. She says, shame is the swampland of the soul. And that imagery, it just vividly brings home that consuming, stuck feeling it creates, doesn't it? Like being stuck in thick mud. You can't get out no matter how hard you try.
That swampland idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really hits home. That feeling of being completely paralyzed. It makes you wonder, though, if shame is so awful, why can't we just logically think our way out? Our sources really challenge that common fix-it mentality, don't they? This idea that you just give someone the right information, a logical fix, and boom, they change.
Exactly, and that raises a really important question. Why doesn't logic fix these deep-rooted issues? Well, the author, drawing from decades studying social psychology, basically confirms people don't actually make decisions rationally, not primarily anyway. Instead, it's how they feel. And especially if those feelings are shame-based, that's what guides their decisions and really compels their actions.
So it's not about facts, it's about feelings. So then how do we even start to approach these deep issues? It sounds like we can't just treat ourselves or others like a machine.
Yeah.
Swap out a bad part.
No, not at all.
Our roots, our foundations, they're anchored in this whole complex tapestry of experiences.
Yeah.
And when shame takes root in that tapestry, the consequences can ripple through everything. So maybe let's turn to that now. What happens when shame just festers? When it remains unresolved? Our sources describe it, especially shame produced by others, as undeserved, consuming, destroying us from within, almost like a cancer.
And if you zoom out a bit, you can see how shame really does ripple through so many aspects of our lives. The sources, they detail specific negative consequences. It deeply affects mental and physical health, self-esteem, even our relationships. It can quietly lead to self-destructive behaviors, social isolation, and it can significantly contribute to things like depression and anxiety.
And digging even deeper, what I found really striking was how the sources list the specific internal monologue shame creates. It's not just vague bad feelings. It shows up as thoughts like, I'm unlovable, I'm a bad person, I'm a failure, I don't deserve happiness, and I'm not important. Did anything else jump out at you from that list?
Just how personal and absolute those statements feel. They don't leave much room for nuance.
Yeah. So for you listening, are you feeling flawed? Maybe often depressed or anxious, but you can't quite pin down why. Finding yourself feeling isolated, having trouble making friends, maybe even experiencing physical pain or getting sick often. Our sources strongly suggest these can all be symptoms of unresolved shame working away under the surface.
And shame often manifests, too, in this deep desire to just hide from others, especially from people we see as somehow better than us. It can lead us to seek out people we perceive as imperfect, like ourselves, hoping for acceptance, though shame can push us to extremes even in that search.
Okay, so here's something really critical that our sources highlight, and it comes from Brené Brown again. the crucial difference between shame and guilt. It
True.
seems subtle at first, but it's incredibly powerful, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely vital. Brown's definitions are so clear and, frankly, crucial. Shame focuses on the self. The thought is, I am bad. Guilt, though, focuses on behavior. The thought is, I did something bad. See the difference?
Huge difference.
It's vital because shame is correlated with really negative outcomes: addiction, depression, aggression. Guilt, interestingly, tends to be inversely correlated, meaning if you genuinely feel guilt about an action, you're actually less likely to fall into those negative patterns. It motivates change rather than paralysis.
That's fascinating, truly. And our sources even dig into how this understanding helps us grasp how shame can be sort of gendered in a way. For women, it often revolves around that pressure, that expectation to do it all, do it perfectly, and never let them see you sweat.
Right. The impossible standard.
And for men, it's primarily about the fear of being perceived as weak. Anything but weak. Now, often, the shame we feel comes from outside, from others looking down on us. But here's a really powerful insight from the sources. The person doing the looking down, they're often the one with the actual problem.
Exactly.
Their judgment frequently stems from their own inadequacy, or maybe an inflated sense of self. It's not really about you.
Which leads to the important question. Okay, so how do we deflect that? When external shame comes our way, the sources explain that understanding it's their issue, not yours, is just crucial. People who've genuinely learned to accept themselves, flaws and all, they don't tend to look down on others. And they don't constantly feel looked down on either. They get it, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We have different strengths, different limits.
It's still such a challenge, though, separating our actions from our identity, isn't it? If other people treat us as bad because of something we did, it's so easy to internalize that, to start thinking of ourselves as inherently bad people.
Sinks in.
Which can then, influence our future behavior.
Yeah.
But the analogy used in the sources is helpful. It's like loving our kids even when they misbehave.
Right.
We don't throw them away, right?
Right.
Their actions don't suddenly cancel out their inherent worth.
And some of the sources bring in some profound spiritual wisdom here, too, highlighting how misunderstanding spiritual teachings can actually make shame worse. For instance, hearing God hates your sin can easily accidentally land as God hates you.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
But the material really emphasizes God as being incredibly tolerant, leaving loads of room for us to learn, to change, and importantly, that God doesn't abandon us. It's fundamentally a message of grace, not condemnation.
Okay, so healing. It's time for healing. How do we begin? Where do we start? Our sources offer several really powerful answers, different paths to get out of that swamp land.
Well, the foundation seems to be this concept of worthiness. Richard Rohr's daily devotional, which one source parallels with this topic, puts it beautifully. It says, "We are enough just as we are, and we are worthy of love and belonging." And worthiness, the sources clarify, doesn't mean deserving, like you have to earn it. Not in that sense. It means we qualify for grace, for love, for belonging with our blemishes, just as we are. It's inherent, not earned.
Right. So how do we take these big, powerful truths and, make them work in daily life?
Our sources offer some really concrete steps to try and break that downward spiral of shame. The first one feels huge. Truly recognizing that as long as we believe others look down on us, we stay stuck. In a self-imposed prison, really.
Perception is key. It's about shifting that internal story, realizing their perception isn't your reality. And sometimes this takes courage. It might mean finding new circles. If your current environment constantly reinforces shame, the sources suggest it's vital for your well-being to seek out a new group, friends who offer genuine acceptance, even if that means stepping away from older, maybe unsupportive relationships.
That can be hard, but necessary.
Definitely. Then recognizing that critics often criticize from their own inadequacy, projecting their stuff onto you. When that happens, you can actually learn to kind of shake it off. Maybe even feel some empathy for them because they're likely struggling too.
Yeah, shifting perspective.
And finally, for those who are just deliberately cruel or seem to feel entitled to tear others down, the advice is pretty clear. Avoid them. It's not about judging them back, but about protecting your own well-being, setting boundaries.
And Brené Brown's insights on overcoming shame, they fit perfectly here. They're so transformative. She teaches us that vulnerability is not weakness. That's a big one. Instead, she says it's emotional risk, exposure, uncertainty. And actually, it's the most accurate measure of courage.
Courage, not weakness. I like that.
Exactly. And she also emphasizes that vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, change, all the good stuff. And crucially, empathy is the antidote to shame. Shame loves secrecy, silence, judgment. It thrives in the dark. But empathy, hearing someone say, "me too," that connection can help us break free.
Wow.
Her idea of daring greatly encourages us all to step into the arena of life, be vulnerable, rather than waiting until we're perfect or bulletproof, because that's where connection happens. That's what makes life meaningful.
And just to echo that profound message of unconditional acceptance from our sources again, God loves you despite anything you may have done or how others see you. That this love, it's unconditional. We can't earn it. And crucially, our mistakes can't make us lose it. That's such a powerful counter-narrative to shame's lies.
Absolutely, and while these insights are incredibly powerful, the sources are also realistic. They acknowledge that for really deep-seated shame, especially if it's been around a long time, while seeking consistent help from a qualified therapist, maybe a clinical psychologist, is often a necessary and really valuable path forward. It takes work.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? Our sources state it pretty clearly. We are not meant to live crushed by shame. In many ways, it becomes our choice. We choose shame when we let others make us feel undervalued, when we internalize that, and it's ultimately a self-destructive choice that keeps us stuck in that swampland.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture, that journey towards feeling worthy, it's ongoing, isn't it? It's not a one-time fix. It requires consciously recognizing your inherent worthiness day by day, embracing vulnerability even when it feels really scary, and fostering empathy both for yourself, which is hard, and for others.
And maybe as a daily practice, just remind yourself, many times a day if you need to, that love and acceptance are available to you, regardless of what you've done, regardless of how others seem to see you. Because often, it really is just our perception of ourselves that makes us think others see us as less than. Most people, the sources suggest, are just navigating their own stuff, not constantly judging you. Okay, for your final provocative thought to take away from this deep dive, consider this statement from Dorian Scott Cole, found in one of our sources. Our answer is God. God's answer is us. Together we make the world better. So, knowing you are inherently worthy, inherently connected, what actions, maybe even small ones, can you take today to contribute to a world that's a little less consumed by shame?
And just a final thought on that, if you find yourself feeling unable to take those first steps, please remember, the path forward often does involve consistent effort. Professional guidance is out there, it's valuable, and it can make a huge difference. Your future well-being really depends on it, and you are absolutely worthy of pursuing that path.